The big pivot point for Bitcoin is upon us, and as we'll be going over today's video, in the short term, Bitcoin probably setting up for perhaps a little bit of a short-term pullback here. So we'll be going over areas of interest for that, and then also the big number disclosed for tonight for Bitcoin for just general continuation. And without further ado, we can just jump right into it, starting off right over here with the 5-day time frame. The 5-day time frame for spot price action is actually closing tonight in the next 19 hours, 2 minutes, 34 seconds, and counting as time just ticks away. And as of right now, we do have a pretty significant pivot going on as a potential for Bitcoin to reclaim. On the 5-day stochastic oscillator, we will see it actually officially cross back onto the upside, assuming that Bitcoin just closed today back above $60,000. Now, of course, looking very, very likely that will be it for Bitcoin, but you always want to be a little bit more on the conservative side when it does come to these things. But perhaps over weekends, I do think that maybe this is more or less a formality, and overall, Bitcoin likely does close above this pivot, and this would indicate the next sort of, I guess, piece of the puzzle being set in for this whole portion of September, this sort of back half of September that we've been talking about on this channel as being the big pivot, in this case very much to the upside. Not only will we see 5-day stochastic oscillator cross the upside, but we'll also see some regular bullish divergence on this, as we do see lower lows on price action between the last low right here, if I could just bring it up, boom, and right here that just happened in the mid portion of September, and we do see higher lows on the stochastic oscillator, thus creating a bit of divergence right here. I'm typically not a humongous fan of divergence on the stochastic oscillator, but hey, it fits my bias, so I'm going to be talking about it right now, which is the way to really go about things. No, what I mean by this is that yes, this would be yet another thing kind of compounding with the stochastic oscillator crossing up, and among many other things as well, that does suggest that upside is more likely here. On top of that, we do see that this trend line that Bitcoin has been kind of living under since basically about March, since the highs were put in, is in danger for the bears of being broken on this next closure. As you can see, this is from the March highs connected with the June highs, again with the August highs, and as you can see right here, if Bitcoin does close above $60,000 today, yeah, that will very likely break it, thus indicating yet another point of interest for a major reversal here in terms of momentum. And again, we're talking about major highs the whole way through. Boom, boom, and boom once again. So this is a chain of behavior after about a 6 to 7 month long consolidation. So the result from this should be rather impressive. Of course, this is in combination with the 5-day setup that we spoke about yesterday. A very, very simple setup right here. Just looking at that red 5 exponential moving average, which anytime the Bitcoin closes above it, if we were to open along, we've had some pretty good results over the full history of Bitcoin, as you can see right here in the equity curve below. Even just taking out those initial results, which were, in my opinion, maybe a little bit misleading because some of them were just so absolutely massive, and measuring from about 2015 till current times, still the results for this are pretty damn good, with a lower strike rate than I think most people are typically accustomed to, at even under 40% right here, being profitable. But because the profit factor is so high, this is a very profitable strategy, despite being extremely simple. You can see, big gains, big gains, big gains, and then small loss, small loss, small loss, all the way through. So in this case, this one fired off again around the middle point of September, and it actually can provide a bit of guidance here as to what the likely pullback will be for this current move. So almost always you will see a reconnection between price action and that red 5 exponential moving average whenever things get going. So it doesn't necessarily need to reconnect on each and every period, but it very commonly does. But you can find a few instances here where it doesn't necessarily exactly get there, but it is a good kind of governor as to where to expect a bit of short-term pullbacks, and a great example right here as well. So in this case, Bitcoin will close tonight on the 5-day time frame, meaning that this will again update, and that will be dragged up. If I had to guess, it's quite difficult to do, but it is rising at about $2,000 per period as of right now. So that could come all the way up to about 62,000-ish, like low 62,000 62,000-ish. So if Bitcoin does open up with a bit of a pullback in this next 5-day spread after today does close, maybe somewhere around low 62 would be an area of interest, but I would be looking for a bounce attempt there. On top of that, if we are actually, I need to bring back up my notes over here. Damn it, I lost it yet again. Okay, just one moment. It's always very, very difficult when you're not at home and don't have access to your usual things. But yes, here we go. Okay, great. We spoke about potential pullbacks. Now let's get into the HPDR. We actually didn't speak about this yesterday, but the 5-day, again, closing today, and it is going to have a chance to reclaim that median, which is officially at 62,500, or just about $7 below that exact number. So assuming that Bitcoin closed above there on today's daily closure, which is also the 5-day closure, I would be looking at that as an indication as well as just another, compounding factor that we are seeing, again, a change of behavior here, and Bitcoin very likely to trade towards the north side of this blue zone right here, perhaps even all the way up to the 38.2 level, which, by the way, is at 71,500. So not bad right there. Again, doesn't necessarily have to have happened in the exact next period, but just overall for this move, that would be an area of interest to the upside. Of course, not just the 5 days closing soon, but also the weekly as well here, and the weekly time frame is going to also have a chance to close back above that same median. This one on the weekly is actually a little bit lower at 62,350, and so again, another day and a half left to go basically, but Bitcoin does close above there. Well, I would be looking for Bitcoin to at least challenge the highs from July, low 70s basically, and perhaps even work its way all the way up to the 38.2 level right here. Again, we do have setups that suggest that is probably likely within the next month and a half to 2 months, but of course that can take some time, so it's not going to happen all in one snap of the fingers, like that, but overall, that would be kind of the general trajectory after very likely a short-term pullback here. In fact, going down to the daily time frame, it does look like that short-term pullback is likely getting underway. We had a retest almost nearly perfectly to the T of the August highs, and as of right now, Bitcoin, pulling back down somewhere around the median, could easily bring it back down to 61.5, maybe $62,000. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that as this next week opens up. But for right now, things looking, well, dare I say, more or less good. I actually even forgot to go over here to the weekly momentum pivot, but that one is very likely going to cross the upside. Again, assuming that Bitcoin is very much above 57,800. But hey, another day to go. Just need to hold that number. And of course, I should add that CME has obviously already closed above that pivot and confirmed that as of Friday's closure above 59,500. That same sort of bullish divergence right here as well on price action. So I'd say, again, this is probably more or less of a formality. But yeah, seems like things are kind of turning around the time that we were looking for. It's been, it's been a very patience testing time as we went through, especially that back end of summer, but now as seasonality comes back into play, and also a bunch of technicals start to come back into view as well, it seems like Bitcoin is ready for a likely interesting Q4, especially with October kind of looming overhead. That looming October indeed, which is one of the most bullish months for Bitcoin, actually posting some of the highest positive returns for those positive closing months. Anyways, I'll close off the video on that note. Just a nice and short and sweet one here. Again, we got another couple days here in Singapore. Really enjoying this place. It's absolutely beautiful. It's actually incredibly mind-blowing. We spent so much time last night with actually Crypto and his lovely lady, and just kind of walking around the the Marina Bay Sands, the gardens. Yeah, Elsa's in the background right now. The gardens just absolutely incredible, truly mind-blowing. First time in Asia, and I think we come back here again. Anyways, wish everyone the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Sunday.